A few more people joining. Livy, hello Marianne, hello Ali. How's it going? Hope you've been well. Yeah, Livy's joining as well. All right, beautiful. I suppose we can get into this now. We've got a few people here. All right, guys. So today we are here to talk about attitude. Now, attitude kind of is pretty much everything. If you look at someone, you can tell what's going on in their mind just by the way that they're presenting, the way that they're turning up, how they're interacting with you, how they're interacting with the world. When something happens, you can see by their reaction to it exactly what's going on in their head. To a lot of the time, so you can kind of tell where they're going in life. And it's these actions and that presentation that makes you want to either become friends with them, get close to them, give them opportunities at work, or kind of avoid them. If someone's got a kind of a shit attitude, you just want to walk away. You don't want to be around them. And it's important that you remember that, because the attitude that you're putting out is having that same effect on them. A lot of the time we can kind of just be like, oh, that person's that person's that, and allow that to dictate how we allow our attitude to be. But the problem with that is if we do that, we end up like them. We end up out of control. It's when we choose our own attitude that we are able to stay in control no matter what. Our attitude shouldn't change that much, because our attitude should be based around our morals and our values. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but sometimes you might be hanging out with a group of friends who have completely different morals or values to you, and you end up changing your attitude to fit in with them. And it makes you feel crap. You end up saying things that you don't mean, and it puts you in a conflicting vibration with who you are. So it's important that even though you have different ways of being around different people, like the way you're around your friends, you're probably not around your parents that way. You know, you don't kind of talk about the same things with your parents that you talk about with your friends. But your attitude and your morals and your values stay the same. So it's important that the attitude you're presenting to the world isn't in conflict with different things. Because what happens then is you end up developing different personalities and different ways of being, and then you start losing sight of who it is that you are. The people who are really sure of themselves, the people who are really confident, people with a great attitude, they maintain it through everything. They don't let it compromise their values. They don't let anything that's coming up, like if someone comes up to them and says something, they have the attitude that I'm not going to conform to their way of thinking just to fit in here. If they say something derogatory or something, you don't have to, lash out at them. You don't have to say, oh, you're wrong, you're a horrible person. But you could just say, I just disagree. And it's that attitude that reflects what's going on inside of you. Now, when your attitude is kind of pushed around by situations and circumstances, it makes it very hard for the universe to give you what you want. Because sometimes you might be with your friends talking about relationships in a very bad way that you don't really agree with. But it's letting these ideas and things just come in that are influencing the way that you're going to exact out in your life. So the attitude that you're having has to be consistent throughout all different aspects of life. All right, so that's a little bit about attitude and why it's so important, because it really does determine what comes to your life and what stays and what goes. Who comes in, who stays, and who goes. It controls everything. So we're going to do our breathing exercise that we've done a few times, but we're going to change it up a little bit this time, because I do like the hand motions and the breathing and the in and out, but I want to add a little bit more of a dynamic to it. If we're going to be getting into that meditative state, we should probably stay there a little longer and enjoy that kind of feeling throughout our body. So we're going to do the breathing exercise with the hand motions, and then we're going to move into a bit of gratitude within that feeling space. So everyone just kind of get yourself a little bit comfortable. Make sure you've got room to stretch or move your hands around, that you're not going to hit something, punch someone. Make sure there's no one in the room that while you're doing that, you're not going to give them a nasty uppercut, because that would kind of really suck. I'm not sure if I have insurance for that kind of situation at all. All right, so we're just going to let ourselves get nice and comfortable and relaxed. Okay, I think Carmela's just joined. Yeah, Carmela, we're about to do that breathing exercise from last time. So maybe put the cup down, because it might go everywhere if you do that. All right, so everyone just slowly close your eyes, allow yourself to relax into the position you are. Move yourself around a little bit. Just make sure you're nice and comfortable. Start listening to any sounds that you can hear around you. Maybe there's a plane, a car. Maybe just your own breathing is what you can hear. Start increasing the depth of your breath. Start really drawing in right into the belly, into the lungs, and allowing your body to be filled up with the breath. If any part of your body has any tension, just shake it out a little bit. Roll your shoulders, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. All right, we're going to do 3 really deep breaths. And on these ones, we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and breathe out for 6 seconds. All right, so we're going to breathe in for 4, in 3, 2, 1, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rest for a second. And we're going to do the same thing again. So breathe in for 4, in 2, 1, 2, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax for a second. All right, now this time we're going to bring our hands up beside us and we're going to do the in-out motion through our nose. I think everyone here has done this before, so I won't have to explain it too much. Remember to breathe in first and then hold the breath and breathe in and out just out of your nose. All right, so we're going to do this in a second. All right, so breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up and down. And relax. Let your arms come down, rest them on your knees. Maybe just let them feel the fabric of your knee, of your pants or the skin of your legs, just running up and down a little bit. Just let the senses kind of feel what they're feeling. Now we're going to do the quick breaths again with our arms up. Bring your arms up to your shoulder height. And we're going to breathe in and then in and out of the nose really quickly. So breathe in and out, go. And relax. So bring your hands down slowly again. Again, notice any sounds in this break. Notice the clarity of it. Notice how when you put your full attention on it, how intricate that sound can be. We're going to do the arm up and down motion again, but this time we're going to do it for 15 seconds. So it's going to be a little bit drawn out. So make sure you take a really deep breath before you do this. So bring your hands up again. And we're going to go for 15 seconds. So breathe a big breath in and go. And relax. And when you've done it for a little bit longer, you can feel a little bit lightheaded. You feel a little bit strange. Sit with that feeling. What does that feeling feel like to you? Now we're going to just think about what it is that we're grateful for. I want you to just think about this past weekend, something that's happened in the last 24 hours, let's say, that you're grateful for. And I want you to just go through as many things as you can think of. if there's one thing that's really big that you're filled with gratitude for, you can rest on that. Just go through a couple of different things. Could be the weather that we had yesterday. Could be a Zoom call or a phone call that you had with one of your friends that was really fulfilling and you felt really connected to that person. Allow it to not just be an intellectual exercise, but also feel it emotionally. Like feel the depth of it. How amazing it is that these things have happened. That you're here and you're able to experience it. Now, I want you to think about something that you're excited for. That's maybe coming up in the next week. Something that you're looking forward to. It could be dinner tonight. You might have an amazing dinner prepared or in mind. It could be a phone call that you're going to have with a loved one. It could be an exciting business opportunity that you're going to endeavor on this week. Something that's exciting. Could be a challenge that you're really looking forward to overcoming. All right. Now we're going to slowly come back, guys. So just in your own time, you can open your eyes whenever you're ready. Open them slowly and shake it out a little bit. If you've just been sitting still, I don't know if you guys are like me, but I don't do sitting still for long very well. All right, cool. Now, does anyone have, I'd actually like to hear a couple of things that people have found that they were grateful for over the last 24 hours. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to share? Could be anything, it could be something small. It doesn't have to be anything major. Yeah, go for it, Ali. Oh, hang on. Do I have to unmute you?
I think I have to do it. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm really grateful for the weather the last couple of days because I've been able to sit outside and do some sewing because I'm getting some pet rats in a couple of weeks, so I've been making all their bedding. And when the weather's good, it makes me want to do stuff, so which is nice. I haven't felt that feeling in a while, so
Yeah, it's amazing how much the weather influences our mood, hey?
Totally, yeah.
I definitely noticed it yesterday. I just wanted to do all the things.
Yeah, and I was really frustrated because I wanted people to come over and hang out, and I just then I got a bit of a sense of loneliness, which I haven't felt in ages, just because I couldn't be in contact with people face to face. I mean, I've got a few housemates, but it was really frustrating.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Well, hopefully it's only another 2 weeks or something, then we can kind of enjoy
fingers crossed.
the weather that's getting a little bit warmer. So yeah, no, but awesome share. Thanks for that, Ali.
No worries.
Yeah, awesome. Well, has anyone else got anything they'd like to share? Or no? We're all good then. All right, cool. Excellent. So I'm just going through my list. I can't remember what the next thing was. All right, cool. Well, we are talking about attitude today. And attitude really is everything. So the first way that we develop an attitude is we think about a situation that we want to improve. We think about something that is going on in our lives that is not going the way that we want it to. Or maybe we're compromising our values within that situation. Maybe we're acting in a way that is making us feel really crap. It's going against our best interest. Or maybe it's just reacting to the situation and not responding. Maybe it's taking the situation personally. Could be at work when someone's treating you a certain way and your attitude is to take that on as if you are that person that they're treating you like. I just want you to think about a situation that's happening in your life right now, or around people that you would like to change, that you would like to have a better attitude for. So take out a pen and paper and just jot down a couple of ideas, a couple of situations or places that you'd like to develop a better attitude. Could be towards relationships, could be towards your parents, could be towards work, could be towards the weather, could be anything. Could be a situation that maybe you even feel a little bit hopeless towards. It could be a situation that is a fantastic opportunity and you're not giving it as much as you would like to give it. Could be your attitude towards the spare time that you have at the moment and what you're doing within that spare time. Has to be kind of a situation where you want to change your thoughts, feelings, and actions towards that situation. I feel like everyone's got a few that they've come up with. What I want you to do is go through the list that you've got and just pick one of them. There'll be one that kind of stands out a little bit more than the others, and it could be two that are on even footing, but generally if there's two, then they might be linked anyway, so you can pick two of them. But just have a look through it and just pick one. Maybe just put a tick next to it, or if you've got a highlighter, you can highlight it. All right, cool. All right, now our attitude is a composite of our thoughts, feelings, and actions towards something. The way that we're thinking about something causes the way we're feeling, and it causes our actions. Now, that thing that we've just written down, that is a situation that is coming about because of probably the way we're thinking about it, the way we're feeling about it, and the way we're acting towards it habitually at the moment without really thinking. It's just a situation that's happening. So what I want you to write down now underneath that is the thoughts I want to think about that. What are the thoughts that you want to think that are going to cause you to feel better about that situation? If it's about the weather, your thoughts could be, well, I can't control the weather. I can only embrace it and do what I can within it. And if it's raining, I can still go outside. Rain doesn't stop me from being able to go outside. If it's about work at the moment or maybe having so much time, your thoughts could be, this is a fantastic opportunity for me to learn, to grow, to adapt, to take on a new skill. If it's to do with your health, maybe you're trying to improve your health situation at the moment. Maybe your thoughts could be, exercising is fun. If I exercise, I will get the results that I want. I'll feel better about myself. I'll feel more energized. think it was Eckhart Tolle said that it's never the situation, it's our thoughts about the situation that cause us to feel a certain way. Like everything that happens in the world is just happening. It's not whether it's good or bad. The universe doesn't really care. The universe is immoral. It does not care whether you win, you lose, you succeed, you fail, something grows. It doesn't care if my pot plants die. It does not care. It's just all part of the cycle of life. It's just our thoughts about that situation. All right, now we've got a couple of thoughts. How do you want to feel towards this situation? So I just want you to write down a couple of feelings. Feelings are something that can be expressed in one word or two words. So for instance, it's not usually a long sentence. It's usually an emotion. Excited. Maybe you want to feel accomplished. Maybe you want to feel satisfied. Maybe it'll make you feel connected. Now, it's generally speaking one or two main emotions that come up that we really gravitate towards. So for instance, for me, excited is definitely one. I love to feel excited about things because for me personally, I just feel that when I'm more excited than I am scared, there's more chance I'm going to take an action towards it. Whenever we're trying to grow as people, the situation that we're trying to improve should both kind of excite and scare us a little bit. There should be a chance that we're going to fail in some way because that's where we grow. So feeling more excited than scared usually leads us to take the action. If we're going to go bungee jumping, but we're way too scared and not that excited, we're not going to do it. If we're more excited than we are scared, there's a good chance we're going to jump off that platform. All right, now we've got a couple of those emotions. I want you to now write down some of the actions that you can take within that situation. So if it's to do with your health, it can be, exercising. If it's to do with building a relationship, maybe you could be the person who messages first. If it's to do with your income or your job situation, maybe you can look for new jobs at the moment. Maybe you can think about the things that interest you and then try and find work within that kind of construct of interests. There's always an action that we can take. Sometimes it can be a little bit more imaginative, and it's not until we really think about it and put our actual thought power into it that we realize there is more that we can do than what we thought. Now, because we've got a bunch of actions towards we've got our thoughts, we've got our feelings, and we've got our actions. So we've got like the construct of what it is that we want to be doing. The problem with attitude is it gets knocked about really easily. It's really hard to keep an attitude when everything around you is still the same. And the way that I think about it is there's the situation where, imagine you're at work and there's a guy who's just been an ass to you for like 3 years. Then one day you come in and he's nice to you. You don't just react to him like, suddenly, that guy's nice. I'm going to be really nice to him now. Say, no, that guy's a dick. He's been a dick to me for the last 3 years and I do not want to be nice to him. But if he maintains it over a period of time, even though everyone's still acting the same way towards him and he continues onwards for like 3 months, by the end of that 3 months, you might have enough positive experiences with him to go, you know what? I think he's maintaining that. He has become that person. I'm now going to react to him in a slightly different way. So what this means is when we change our attitude, but we're still in our life, everything around us is going to start rubbing with us. It's going to start becoming into conflict. And the way that we need to be able to control our attitude is with willpower. We have to be able to hold this image on our mind. Willpower is the ability to focus on one thing to the exclusion of all outside distractions. It means that you continue onwards no matter what's going on around you, no matter if one of your friends is starting to not like you, no matter if you've suddenly developed a new friendship that is challenging you because that person's seeing you act this way, now they're holding you to a higher standard. So willpower is the most important thing when it comes to attitude, because you are going to get knocked around for it. Now, with willpower, we're going to do an exercise with this situation as well. I've started reading this new book, which has been fantastic on willpower, and it goes through the 3 stages of it. So there's the I will, I won't, and I want. So the I want is the situation that you're wanting to achieve from doing this thing. So you're looking at probably the end result of you thinking, feeling, and acting a certain way. The I will is all the things that you're going to do. So you've written down your actions. But the I won't are all the things that you're not going to do. So it's important to get this, because I will is these are the things I'm going to do. I won't do these things when they come up. So for instance, at the moment, I am trying to develop an earlier bedtime. So the things that I've put on my will list are that I will set an alarm that tells me to go to sleep at a certain time. I will hop into bed at 9. I will be asleep by 10, and I will be up at 4 a.m. Those are all my wills. Those are the things I will do. The things that I won't do is I will not answer a phone call if someone calls me at 8:45, or if they call me at 10 o'clock at night. I will not do that. It doesn't matter if I see it, unless it's my mum. If my mum called me, then maybe I will. That can go on the will, because mum doesn't call me at that time unless something's wrong. But there's things I won't. I won't check Instagram at that time. I won't, and there's a list of things that I won't do. But the reason that this is important is because we start noticing and start realizing what are the things that are going to distract us. So within like a friendship group with the attitude, we start realizing there's what are the things I won't do. I won't bag out my friends behind their back. Maybe that's something I won't do. I won't drink a certain amount of alcohol because of this situation. I won't do all these other things. But what we've got to do is look at the situation that we're trying to create and then think about these 3. So I want you to just have a look at the situation that you're trying to create. I want you to think about the I wills. I just want you to write down a few I wills, I won'ts, and reasons that you want it. Because the I want is what's going to drive it. Keeping that firmly on the screen of your mind, what it is you want, will help you, because you'll realize what the I wills are, the I won'ts are, and you'll know the result that you're trying to get there with. If maybe you're trying to develop a better relationship with someone, it could be that I will text them often. I won't leave their replies for 3 or 4 days. The reason it's good to know the things that you won't do, the things that are going to distract you, is because while you're writing it down, you become consciously aware of it. So when that situation comes up, you suddenly have this little moment in your brain where you're just aware, oh, hang on, that thing's coming up. That's something I said I wouldn't do. And you have that moment to then decide whether you're going to continue doing it. Because we are very habitual beings, and a lot of the time we end up just doing the thing, and then afterwards being like, oh, I said I wasn't going to do that. Or, oh, that wasn't helpful. But when we know that we've said to ourselves that we're not going to do it, gives us more of a chance. Now, that's a fantastic willpower exercise that you can do for pretty much any situation. And as we've talked about before, repetition is key on all these things, all these situations, or all these exercises. All right, well, I'm just going to go through a quick slideshow. You guys know that I love my slideshows. So I'm not going to be able to see you guys, but if you guys have any questions throughout it, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, because most of the time, if you have a question, someone else has probably got a very similar question. And when people ask me questions, I can explain it in a slightly different way so that it is easier for other people to understand. So all questions are good questions, is what I'm basically saying. Within reason, of course. All right, let's see if I can share this screen now. Excellent. So let me get a little bit better at this. It's gonna work. All right. Yeah, I don't know why I just started off at the end. Ah, there we go. All right. I'm just gonna get rid of these pictures down the bottom. All right, now, apparently you guys can see me and I can't see you. I did not know this last time because last time I was just like sitting there playing with a pen. So I'm not gonna, I've already done it, but I'm gonna try and not do it from here on out. All right, so this is my presentation on attitude. So what is attitude and why is it so important? Now, we've covered a little bit of this in the introduction, but it's the repetition of the information and the repetition of the ideas that really sticks into your mind that attitude is really important. It helps you retain the information. The more times it gets told to you, the more it sticks. Now, attitude is defined as the position or bearing indicating action, feeling, or mood. And it's our actions, feelings, or moods which determine the actions, feelings, moods of others towards us. If we are not nice to people, it's really hard to expect them to be nice to us. If we don't trust them, it's hard for them for them to trust us. There is this relation of cause and effect. Everything that we put out comes back to us in some kind of way. It may be not from that person. We might be super nice to someone and they're mean to us, but someone else who's one of our friends might see how nice we were to them, say, hey, dude, well done. I saw how nice you were, given how much of a pain in the butt that guy was, and I respect that. So it is our actions, feelings, or moods which determine the actions, feelings, or moods of others towards us. And to a large extent, our success or failure in life is dependent on the way that we interact with other people. Now, our attitude controls your first impressions on other people. We all have our first impression of someone else. And if we are in a bad mood, a bad attitude, it can be really difficult for people to forgive us if we've come across in a bad way at the start. Like when you walk into a job interview, you can't just walk in and be, oh, no, yeah. You have to come in with a positive attitude. It's like when you go on a first date with someone. So imagine if you turned up with a crap attitude. Chances of success? Not great. And your attitude controls what you see in life. There's this thing called, I think it's, what is it? Limited attention? It's to do with what your brain's thinking about is what you can see. It's evident in situations where, let's say you're going to buy a new car and suddenly you've like decided, oh, this is the car I want. You just start seeing it everywhere. It's really what you focus on just causes what you become aware of in your internal, in your environment. And where your attention goes is controlled by your attitude. If you are thinking about how things cannot be done, all you can think about is things of how it can't be done. If you've got a can-do attitude, all you're constantly doing is finding ways that things can be done. And your attitude controls who comes in and who goes out. Now, for a lot of us, when we improve our attitude, some of our friendship groups just fall away. It's just part of it. I've got one of my friends that after I started doing the personal development thing, one of the reasons we were good friends was because we had like a whole misery loves company thing. And then I got into the positive attitude stuff and our friendship had to fall away. But what happened when he left, other people came in, people with a good attitude. So it does control who comes in and goes out. It controls your relationships. It controls your income. It really controls everything. Now, there's a saying that I absolutely love, and it's, you've got to do it by yourself, but you can't do it alone. It may sound like a contradiction, but it really isn't. You have to decide where it is that you want to go. You have to decide the attitude that you want to take towards life. But you can't get everything done in life by yourself. At any point in time, you're being served by a magnitude of people. we are on laptops or phones right now. Not one of us designed or built one of these. We are responsible for using it, and we are able to use it. So our choice of how we're going to apply the technology that we have at our fingertips is up to us. But we have to understand that we can't do it alone. We need people around us. If we're building a company, we need a fantastic receptionist. And we can't have a fantastic receptionist or a personal assistant if we treat them like crap. How far you go in life is dependent upon the attitude that you have towards the people in your life. If you're not constantly giving to them, if you don't have an attitude of, I'm going to make sure I give to this person, I'm going to make sure that I increase, my service towards these people, then they're not going to do it for you. It's when we develop these relationships with other people in a positive way that we advance ourselves, because there are things that we don't know how to do that other people know how to do. And when we develop a good relationship with them, they are able to help us. And then we're able to help them in return, because there's something that everyone is good at. Now, why is your attitude so important? It's because human beings can alter their lives by attitude, altering their attitudes of mind. Now, this is really important because it doesn't matter where you are. If you improve your attitude, you improve your situation. Like, so quickly, it's kind of ridiculous. If you were to improve your attitude to a more positive demeanor, the things that just happen around you, it happens really quickly. Now, I really did like this pitch down the side that said, attitude changes things. Because one of my friends told me I say things way too much, and I saw that and I'm like, I'm just going to put that in because of that. But attitude really does change things. And I'm allowed to say that because it's written there. Now, it's important because we went through the stick man a couple of times. I'm just going to go through it quickly here. It was, the picture created by Dr. Thurman Fleet in the 1930s to help people become more holistically aware of how their mind was working in relation to their body. Because we have the conscious mind and the subconscious and the body. So that's the way he drew it up. So I know there's more parts to the brain than that, or the mind, but we're just going to think about it in those two. Our conscious mind, it's our educated mind, thinking mind. It has the ability to accept or reject ideas. It's hooked up to the world via our senses, which are, see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. So we have all this sensory information coming into us, and we have an educated mind or an intellect that processes this information and determines what it means. And it has the ability, if we see something that we don't believe to be true, we can say, yeah, that's not right. And we can see falsehoods in that way. In our conscious mind, we have mental faculties. Now, we went through willpower in the exercise before, but it's using our mental muscles, our mindset, and thinking about the situation that we want to create, where we're using all of these, we're reasoning with it. Our ability to take information and reason with it it's crucial, because we've got all this information coming to us. And if we can't reason with it in a way that's conducive with the results that we're trying to get, we're in a bit of trouble. So when we reason with something in a can-do attitude, our ability to take in that information and take the good out of it is fantastic. It's improved. Now, it increases our perception as well, because like I said, what we look for, our attitude determines what we look for in things. It determines how we see things.
Time.
And, ooh, who's that? Someone talking there? No? Okay. Memory, and that's our ability to remember information. Memory is also really important because we want to remember the attitude that we're trying to hold. So our memory also it determines what we think about from the past. So our perception of the past is brought up in our memory. If our memory is clogged up with lots of negative situations and circumstances, it becomes very difficult to move forward. So remembering the good, that's why gratitude and exercises like that are really important. Will, which is self-discipline and ability to focus, which we went through on the exercise. Intuition, that's that feeling that you just know. That's that sixth sense. Like when someone walks in, you can see the way they're walking and you don't really know that much about them, but you've got this intuition of, what's going on. And our imagination is our ability to create. So when we did that exercises before, where we were developing the situation to how we wanted it to be, that's using our imagination. That might not be how it is right now, but we're using our mind to create the image of what it is that we want. Now, our emotional mind has no ability to reject beliefs, habits. That's where all our beliefs and habits and behavior are stored. That's in our feeling mind. Now, conscious mind is, like I've said it before, it's responsible for only 2 to 5% of your behavior. That means that 95 to 98% of your behavior is to do with your subconscious mind. It's what you're not even thinking about. It's what you're on autopilot for. Now, when we were doing these exercises before, we were using our conscious mind. And it's when we use our conscious mind every day towards an objective that we're able to change our subconscious mind and change our behavior. Because our subconscious mind is estimated to be 30,000 times more powerful than our conscious mind, which is ridiculous. I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to skip that. Yep, we'll go from here. All right, so we think thoughts, those thoughts create a feeling, those feelings create emotions, and that causes us to act in a certain way. Now, that's why we went through that exercise. It's when we let negative thought patterns go on repeat over and over and over again that we end up getting results in our life that we just don't want, because our actions cause us to get a result. When we have a certain attitude, our action is expressed outwards from our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. And it causes a result. Like if we're thinking about the wrong things, when we meet people, they can tell. They can tell. Like if someone's in a bad mood because they're thinking about something negative, if they're not happy to be at the concert, if they're not happy to be at the wedding, if they're not happy to be at work, you can tell, you can see it. It's so obvious. And it makes you not want to be around that person if they're not having a great attitude. Now, what happens is we see this result with our senses, creates the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, and it ends up being a cycle. The attitude that we have creates results. It causes people to act the same way that we have acted outwards. Then we see it. If we turn up to a party and we're in a great mood and we're smiling and we're having a good time, then we see someone else and they smile at us because, oh, you're smiling. It's reaffirmed, and you go in and it creates a positive feedback loop. But it can happen the opposite way. If you go in frowning, the chances that people are going to smile at you aren't as great. So you'll be looking around, no one else is smiling. It's being reaffirmed. I'm just going to keep on this cycle. The cycle is also subject to conditions, circumstances, or the environment we find ourselves in. Now, this is where willpower is really important for your attitude, because the people that we are hanging out with, we become like the 5 people we spend the most time with. So these are things that situations or circumstances that control our attitude, because our attitude towards life is greatly affected by the people that we spend the most time with. We're going to do an exercise in a bit to write down who we spend the most time with, but think about the attitudes of the people that you're hanging around with right now. Are they saying that things are good, things are bad? Are they looking for ways forward, or are they looking for ways to kind of just survive? Are they trying to live, or are they trying to just survive? There's a great difference there. And the people that you spend time with, their attitudes will rub off on you. It's like situations that can control your attitude, like the culture at work. If everyone there's in a negative vibe, it's really difficult. But it is important to know that if you change your attitude at work, you can change the attitude of the whole place. If you stay consistently the same, I mean, how many times at work do you have someone come up to you and they just smile at you and you're like, oh my God, for the next 10 minutes, you're just in a good mood. Imagine if you did that to every single person in your work, then they're smiling and they're smiling at each other, and just creates a knock-on effect. And other things that can affect your attitude are the amount of money we are earning, changing unexpectedly. At the moment right now, there's a lot of people whose incomes have gone up because they've had a lot more work, and gone down because they've lost work. Now, yeah, it's very difficult to keep your attitude in a good way when it's been affected in such a substantial situation like that. But it really is our attitude that we have towards the situation that is going to determine how we feel about it. It also can be about the loss of someone we love in a relationship, or that's passed away, or something like a global pandemic can really affect our attitude. Now, with all of these things, if we have positive thoughts, we go in a positive loop. If we have negative thoughts about it, we go in a negative loop. If we have a negative situation like this whole global pandemic, it creates a bad thought, a bad feeling, bad emotion, a new action that's bad, and we get a bad result, and we go backwards. That's what's happening to a lot of people at the moment. They're letting all these situations and circumstances affect their attitude. And I know it's difficult. I know there's a lot of crap going on in the world, but it really is turning into this negative feedback loop. The way that we're able to stop it is to start thinking about, like we did that exercise before, what it is that we do want, the thoughts we do want, the emotions we do want, the I wills, the I won'ts, because I want this. When we're in tune with what it is that we want, we can go in that circle and we can create a new world for ourselves. We can make things better. And it might not be in the biggest, grandest way that you want, but you can still make things better. Using all these mental faculties and keeping them sharp by exercising them. Like we went through that exercise for the will. That's something that you can use all the time on every situation, anything that you're trying to improve. Because there are only two ways to change behavior permanently or improve your attitude. And that's an emotional impact, like a smoker having a heart attack and then deciding, no, I'm going to have a better attitude towards health. And constant spaced repetition. That is doing the same thing over and over again. That exercise that we did today, if you want to change that situation, you really want to change it, you need to imprint those thoughts onto your subconscious mind by going over it and over and over it. Like every day I write out, I'm so happy and grateful now that I go to bed at 9 o'clock, I'm asleep by 10, and I wake feeling energized at 4 a.m. And I've been writing that out for like the last 5 days, and it just starts to change your behavior. It's constant spaced repetition. I'm entertaining the same idea. I'm writing the I wills afterwards, the I won'ts, and the situation that I'm trying to create. Now, if this works, and it's quite simple, why doesn't everyone just change their lives for the better every day? And that's a good question. It's because when we change, everything around us changes. Like I said before, friendship circles change. When we change our behavior, our attitude, suddenly it can be out of line with where we work. And it's uncomfortable. And then fear kicks in. And the reason is because of the basic law of the universe, which is that of cause and effect. When we do something differently, we get a new effect. If we behave differently around our friends, they're going to behave differently towards us. Now, we're in charge of the cause and the universe is in charge of the effect. Sometimes it sucks at first. We might lose friends, but we have to trust that being in this new vibration, this new energy, having this new attitude is going to attract what it is that we want. All right. Now, does anyone have any questions about all of what I just went through? Because I tried to cram a lot of information into a short period of time, because this subject of attitude there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Any questions, comments, criticisms? Yeah, you can say whatever you want. All right, cool. What we might do then is, all right, well, because we've talked about how important is the attitude that we have towards people around us, what I want you guys to do now is I want you to write down 5 people in your life. And I want you to think about the attitude that you've got towards them. Try and make it the 5 people who are you're most emotionally involved in. It might not be the people that you live with or work with. It might be someone that you don't see that often, or you can't see at the moment, but it might be someone that you just think about the most. It's when you become aware of what your attitude towards that person is that you can either determine whether it's a good attitude or it's a bad attitude. But just write, what's your attitude towards that person? what I want you to do for these 5 people is determine whether you, let's say that you had a kid, whether you'd want your kid to have the attitude of this person. Like, do they have the attitude that is going to take them far in life? That's going to be conducive towards them being happy as a person? Are they going after goals? Are they growing as a person? Because we're like the 5 people that we hang out with the most. Determining whether, and it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. We're not determining whether they're good or a bad person. I know people who, you know, aren't doing that much and aren't kind of progressing that much, but they're fantastic people. We're not determining whether they're good, moral or immoral. We're just determining whether we would want our kid to be hanging out with that person and developing that somewhat of their attitude towards life. Now, for some people, the next part might be difficult because sometimes they don't actually really know. If it's the people in our lives that kind of really have a huge effect on our attitude and what we talk about, what we think about, and just our view of life in general, I want you to write down a few people who you would like to get to know a little bit better. People that you could reach out to. Maybe there might be an uncle who's successful in a business that you would like to kind of just talk to, just get closer to. They could be one of your friends. They could be you've realized now that you've gotten older that maybe your mum or dad actually did have the head screwed on right, and even though they're bossing you around, they did know what they're talking about. Maybe you want to develop a closer friendship with them. Think about the people who have got a fantastic attitude in your life, or just get things done in a certain way that you respect, that you would like to get closer to. Just write a few of them down. This exercise is designed to make you think about whether people around you are having a positive effect or a negative effect. Whether they're improving your attitude or they're taking away from it. Now, I'm not saying that your attitude is directly, well, they're responsible for it, but it's a lot easier to have the right attitude around the right people. If we're all superhuman, we could have an amazing attitude no matter what. But that can be difficult. That requires a lot of willpower. All right, now there's something that I'm just going to read out, which is from a program that I've studied for a little while, which the first lesson is called The Magic Word, and the magic word is attitude. It's got like a synopsis at the end, so I'm just going to read out the last few parts of it, and then we're going to go into a visualization after that. So first, it's our attitude at the beginning of a task, which more than anything else will bring about its successful outcome. When we go to a party, if we turn up in a bad mood, we turn up in a bad energy, it's really hard to recover from that. If we spend the first 10 minutes like that, people will avoid you. And it's the same with work, job interviews and all that kind of stuff. It's our attitude at the start that's really key. Setting the intention when you go into a room, this is the kind of person I'm going to be. This is the attitude I'm going to bring. Seeing someone come up to you and be like, no matter what they say, I'm going to be this person. Secondly, our attitudes towards others determine their attitude towards us. We're interdependent. The success we achieve in life will greatly depend on how well we relate to others. It really is how we interact with other people that's going to bring about our success. I mean, think about how hard it would be to do everything on your own, to build a successful business without having any input from anyone around you. It's difficult. You'd have to figure out everything yourself. Whereas there's so many people who have already done these things. So if you can't work well with others with a positive attitude, it's going to set you back. It's going to make life a lot harder. Third, before you can achieve the kind of life you want, you must think, act, talk, and conduct yourself in all of your affairs as with the person you wish to become. This means not conflicting with your values. You can't be this person with a positive attitude, then get together with your mates and then talk derogatory about like other people, and then put yourself into a sense of conflict. It detracts away. It makes you feel crap, and it makes you doubt your own attitude. Fourth, the higher you go in any worthwhile organization, the better the attitude you'll find. Attitudes are not the result of success. Success is the result of good attitudes. Now, some people might see people as mean in a business. They might, oh, that guy's mean, he's selfish, he's too driven and he pushes things away. No, he's just got an attitude of success, that he's going to do what it takes to succeed. And his reasons might be because he needs to feed his family. It might be because he wants to be remembered. Just because someone has that kind of attitude doesn't mean anything about their personality. They still could be very moral. They could still have very high values. Like someone like Steve Jobs, everyone hated him. The guy had a phenomenal attitude towards work though, and just getting whatever had to be done, no matter what anyone said to him. He upset a lot of people, and that's not a great thing, but he also brought a lot of people up with him. He demanded of them high expectations. Now, and finally, the deepest craving of human beings is for self-esteem, to be needed, to feel important, to be appreciated. When you treat every person you meet as the most important person in the world, both of you will benefit. Now, the people who we want to do things with make us feel good about ourselves. If someone makes you feel crap, the chances that you're going to want to do something good for them, not good. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, now we're going to do a little, does anyone have anything to say on those just before I go into the visualization, or about anything that we've talked about today? No, we're all good? All right, beautiful. All right, get comfortable, guys, because we're about to do a visualization. Now I've got to share the screen for this to work, I think. I'm just going to play some music over the top of it. Which is this? Hopefully that's not too loud. Now, all right. I'm hoping that everyone can hear that music. I can't actually see you guys at the moment. Can you tell me if you can hear the music loud enough?
Yep, it's all good.
Yep, beautiful. Is my voice traveling over the top of it?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys, get comfortable. Stretch out a little bit. Roll your arms around. Do whatever it is that you need to do. I'm just going to be here for about 5 to 8 minutes, roughly. All right. I want you to close your eyes. Allow your hands to rest on your thighs. They can be up or down, whichever feels more comfortable to you. I want you to just focus in on your breathing for a second. Feel the air going in. Feel it filling your body up. Feel it leaving. Notice how your shoulders may drop a little bit as you breathe out. Anything to do with your breath. The way the air feels going down your throat, through your nose. The feeling of the air swirling around inside you. I'm going to go through a visualization about your ideal day. So I want you to imagine that you're waking up in your bed. This morning, it's whatever time you would like to get up. First of all, think about what time it is that you would like to be awake on a regular day. want you to look around your room. See your room how you want it to be. Maybe it's organized how you want. Maybe there's shelves where you want them to be. Maybe there's furniture how you want it to be. Play around with this a little bit. I want you to imagine that you're getting out of bed and you're really excited. Today's going to be an amazing day. You're going to be spending it with people you love, doing what you love. I want you to dress for the occasions that you're expecting to happen today. Whatever it is that you want to happen today. You could be going out for breakfast. You could be about to do a workout. I want you to see yourself in the mirror, dressed. Now, no matter what, you've got an amazing attitude toward yourself. You're looking at yourself and you like what you see. You feel good. Maybe you dance a little bit. Maybe you check yourself out in the mirror. Maybe you're admiring the way that the clothes sit on you. You're excited for today and you're excited about how you're turning up today. Now you're going to go downstairs and you're going to do whatever it is that you would like to do in the morning at this time. It could be have breakfast, could be coffee, could be a protein shake and a workout, maybe a meditation, maybe work, maybe a walk. Whatever comes up first for you, just explore. There's no stress of the choice. You've got the attitude that today is just going to be an amazing day. You're just going to do what it is that you want. After you've gone for your walk or you've done your workout, it's breakfast, or you've eaten your breakfast, it's brunch time, and a whole bunch of people, 5 people that you would like to be spending the most time with, the people who are progressing, they have a fantastic attitude. They're coming over for brunch. I want you to imagine greeting these people at the door as they come in and the attitude that you would have at seeing them. You're inviting them into your home. They're excited to see you, to talk about new ideas, about things that lift you up. There's no grief, there's no pain. It's just an exciting feeling that you're around the kind of people that are going to lift you up, and you're going to contribute to them as well. Imagine some of the conversations that you might have with some of the people. What would you talk about with them? There's no complaining either. There's no talk about why you haven't done what it is that you want to be doing. You're just telling them about what it is that you want to do, and they're telling you about things that you can do to improve that situation. Now, these people are going to leave now, and they're going to leave you at home. You might be with your partner, you might be by yourself. Doesn't really matter. I want you to imagine that now the situation that you're trying to improve in your life, you're going to work on it. If you've already done a workout in the morning because it's health, then you're going to do another workout. Maybe you're going to prepare your food. Maybe you're going to do a different sort of exercise. This is your work. This is the thing that you're trying to improve right now. You're going to spend an afternoon working on it. What does that look like? And you've got the attitude that it can be done. You've got all the things you need at home. Maybe you're improving your mental health at the moment. So maybe you're reading a book. Maybe you're meditating. Maybe you're studying an online course. Maybe you're on a laptop. Maybe you're creating videos. Could be anything. Now, I want you to imagine it's become evening now and it's dinner time. So you're sitting down, you're having dinner, and you've got one person who you really like talking to, who's your main person. Could be your partner, could be someone that you really admire in your life, your best friend, anyone. And you're talking about how amazing today was. I want you to imagine that they're also telling you about how amazing their day was. It's not just about you. You're both sitting there celebrating each other. How good life is and how good it is that you're both progressing. Your excitement excites them. And their excitement excites you. And as you wrap up that conversation, moved on late into the evening, it's time to go to bed. You're going to go back up to your room. You're going to get dressed for bed. And you're going to sit in your bed and just imagine that you're writing about how amazing today was and about how with the right attitude you were able to bring this about. Positive thoughts, positive feelings. You know that you could overcome anything while you stay in this line of thinking, this line of feeling. There's a certainty within you. And if there isn't a certainty within you, there's a feeling in you that you're going to start looking for what it is that you need to find. You feel confident that life is just getting better. You're going to slowly go to sleep. Feeling happy. And just let your mind go blank for a second in this feeling space. Allow yourself to just sit. Just feel it. Notice the calmness, maybe the clarity. When you're ready, put your hands over your eyes and slowly blink your eyes open. Now, as you've come out of this state, it's a good time to just jot down any thoughts or any feelings or anything that came up about that visualization. Anything maybe that you noticed that came up that you want to remember, that you want to keep on the screen of your mind. That's what we keep on the screen of our mind that really ends up manifesting around us in our lives. I'm going to be uploading a recording of this webinar, so if you found that last part helpful, the visualization, it does pay to do it as often as you can to get yourself back into that feeling space. When we get into that feeling space, we tend to act slightly differently. All right, awesome. Oh, the music still plays. I wonder how I did that. Sorry, I might have to work that out for next time. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this webinar. If you have any questions or anything that came up for you that you'd like to talk about, feel free to add me on Instagram, A Better Way Coaching, or one word on Instagram, or you can add me on Facebook, which is David Fernandos Turner, and you can talk to me there. Or you can just email me at abetterwaycoaching@gmail.com. Yes, that's the one. I said at. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right, guys, thank you so much for participating. That was amazing. Hope you guys got something out of it. And yeah, if you did, I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys, and we'll all talk soon. All right. See you guys.